Joy to the world, joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Reverend Christine Dance, and I am honored to be serving as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix. Welcome to our online worship service about joy. In this time when we are physically distant, we believe it is an act of love and radical inclusion to worship online and be together in this way. Welcome to our worship, welcome home. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, welcome. Welcome, Carly and Alec. Thank you for introducing yourselves in the chat. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, and knowing that issues of justice and equity shape everything we do. We have a special awareness for those who have been historically marginalized, so we welcome all of every race, class, ethnicity, immigration status, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious background, mental and physical ability, and disability. We welcome your whole self, your family, however you define it, into our worship as we build a community of caring and courage and hope. Our opening words this morning are from Shirley Caesar, a Black American gospel singer, songwriter, and recording artist whose career has spanned 7 decades. The song she wrote, "This Joy," is the centerpiece of our service today. This joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. And the world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. This love I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. I invite you to grab a chalice or a candle from your home as we recite our covenant, and my wife Karen lights our chalice. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant. I'd like to invite our worship team led by our worship associate, Mary McManus. Welcome from college, Mary.
Hi. Let me introduce our worship team. I am Mary McManus, and I am your worship associate today, broadcasting from my brand new dorm room at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. We have our music director, Benji Messer, our director of children ministries, Katie Resendez, our pianist, Mary Coda. Our Zoom operator today is Justin Walgren, and our chat chaplain today is Brad Chapman. Our communications and technology coordinator is Becca Briley. Our chat is open. You can chat with everyone or just to our panelists. Our service is automatically captioned for maximum accessibility. As always, we invite you to check into UUCP on social media with the hashtag UUAnywhere. There is much to do in our community, which you can find in our newsletter, Compass. You can sign up for Compass at our website, phoenixuu.org. We have several announcements today. We have a new website. Woo! It officially launched this week after a year of visioning and work. We will have a special tour around the exciting features of the website in a breakout room during coffee hour. Go check it out at phoenixuu.org. And thank you to Anna Zell for her tremendous amount of volunteer work to make this happen. Our children's ministry program is kicking off this week. This Thursday, September 9th at 6 p.m. is a children's ministry program orientation for anyone who is interested in having their kiddos involved. The memorial service for Bill Parker, a longtime member of UUCP who died on May 7th, will be on his birthday, September 25th at 9:30 a.m. in the UUCP Memorial Garden. The service and reception will be held outdoors and masked. We are looking for a few extra volunteers who can help guide people. If you can, contact Stephanie at administrator@phoenixuu.org. We have a new celebration team, a team focused on how we can engage together joyfully in a time when many of us need it. If you want to be part of this team, email celebrations@phoenixuu.org. And finally, speaking of celebrations, next Saturday, the 11th, we will be having a safely distanced in-person event at Granada Park, not far from UUCP, around Lincoln and the 51. It will be from 9 to 11 a.m., and you can bring your water to be videotaped for our water communion the following week. You can also listen to music, sign important Arizona petitions, sign a banner for our coming of age participants, and be a part of our decorating for our water communion. Please bring your masks and be part of this community event. For those of you who can't attend, please send a photo or video of you pouring your water to submit@phoenixuu.org by Monday the 13th. But we hope we will see you next week. Our offering is being collected virtually, just like our service. We ask you to be generous in your giving to support the mission of our beloved community. You can text UUCP to 73256. You can donate through the website, or you can send a check. And if you haven't sent in your pledge for the next fiscal year, please do so as soon as you can. You can find the link in the chat. For all that you give to our congregation, we are so grateful.
Good morning, everyone. So, Caesar, who sang, "This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away." Now, Miss Caesar was the Holy Ghost that I have. The world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away. And some of you may feel that, and some of you may not, but we do have a Unitarian principle that says something similar. It says we each have inherent dignity, and there's a faith there that we are a love, a joy that can't be taken away, that can't be stolen, that can't be beaten down by any cruelty or unfairness or accident. It's inherent. So yeah, feel free to sing it with me. We'll put the lyrics in the chat. It goes like this. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this love I have, the world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. And this peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. No, this peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. And this strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. And this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh no, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it. No, the world can't take it. Oh, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Thanks all.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Katie Resendez, and I'm the Director of Children's Ministry here at UUC Phoenix. I don't like pumpkin. I really don't like pumpkin. I mean, I like to see pumpkins growing in the field with the vines coming, and you get to see how they lay and how they get more and more orange as the season goes on, and I like picking them out. I don't like carving them so much because it makes my hands hurt really bad, but I love watching other people carve them and see what ideas they come up with. I even just like seeing a whole pumpkin just sitting on someone's porch. But I don't like eating pumpkin. In fact, it's like the one thing, maybe the one thing in the whole world that I would almost say I hate. The thought of eating pumpkin flavored anything grosses me out. Talking to you all about it right now is making me kind of rumbly, tumbly. I'll try not to gag on camera. I don't like pumpkin. And I just found out, and I mean like just found out within the past 48 hours, that pumpkin spice flavored things, like pumpkin spice lattes, don't actually taste like pumpkin, the squash. They taste like pie spices, clove and nutmeg and things like that, like autumny pie spices. And growing up in New England, those are flavors very, very familiar to me. But I've never had a pumpkin spice anything because it starts with the word pumpkin. Ugh. So pumpkin spice season, not my favorite, but I do love autumn. Just don't like seeing the word pumpkin everywhere with food. But here's the thing. If you do, and it means that all year long you wait for PSL, pumpkin spice latte season, that's fantastic. Congratulations, it's here. If you want to eat pumpkin spice flavored things for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, they're there for you and you can do that. Coffee creamer, coffee, you could put the pumpkin spice coffee creamer in the pumpkin spice coffee. I mean, there's so many things you can do. I'm sure there's somewhere out there that is serving pumpkin spice flavored pot roast. You could eat that. And I hope that seeing it on the menu would make you so happy and your eyes would sparkle for a minute. Or maybe you're it's September, I guess I can put my Christmas tree up. Or maybe you keep your Halloween decorations up all year long because those purple twinkly lights and those little witches hats make you so happy. Maybe you wear your favorite football team's jersey whenever you're feeling down. Or on those Sundays when you gather together, maybe just over Zoom to watch a game, cheering when they score makes you so happy that your heart pounds. Maybe you like to cut your grass more often than is needed. And you're careful about the environment and all of those things, but those moments of getting out there with the lawnmower make you feel good. And when you look at your lawn, you say, yeah, I did that. And you feel that sparkle. Whatever it is, do that thing. Feel that sparkle. Feel that joy. A few weeks ago, we talked about how when we meet people, sometimes the grown-ups among us have been trained that we ask someone what their name is, and then we look around awkwardly for a minute, and then we say, so what do you do? And what we actually mean is, what do you do for a living? And what we actually mean is, what's your job? But we have to think of a new question. And I have a new question that I want us to try out with one another and see if you can do it. It'll feel awkward and weird because it's new and it's not what we've been taught. But what if we were to ask people, where do you find joy? What brings you happiness? What if right after you met someone, the first thing you said, oh, nice to meet you. My name's Katie. What's yours? And they tell you and you say, what kind of things make you happy? What would happen? Because see, when we're asking people, what do you do? We just want to make a connection with them. And to be honest, hearing what someone's job is doesn't always give me a very good connection to the person. I'm an accountant. Oh yeah? But maybe asking what brings them joy, maybe you would find out that they really, really love coloring. Or maybe you would find out that their favorite place in the whole wide world is only 2 miles from where you were born. What if we asked, what brings you joy? See, as we've been apart in pandemic, I've noticed that our joys and sorrows as a congregation has gotten longer and longer and longer. And it feels so good to read what's going on for one another. And it feels so good to hear my own joys and sorrows when Rev Christine or the worship associate reads it back. And maybe when we're in person, we won't need our joys and sorrows list to be so long. It won't need to be such a big part of service, because when we sit down next to fellow congregants and we say, "Hi, I haven't seen you before. My name's Katie. What's yours?" Our next question will be, "What brings you joy?" And that connection that we've been looking for, that way of knowing someone else, knowing what makes them sparkle, seeing them for real, will be right there in our first few minutes. What do you think? I'd like to give it a try. I hope you do too. So speaking of pumpkins, I don't like pumpkins, but I am still a New England girl. And I would say that real autumn is the taste of apples, apple cake, apple pie for breakfast, because it is a breakfast food primarily. Apple and hash browns, apple sauce, apple butter, oh, sorry. I really like apples. It's part of who I am. It's part of my identity of being raised in New England. And it's a pretty amazing piece of me, and they bring me joy. Bushels and bushels of apples bring me joy. I've got some New England pride. Two of our congregation members, Carolyn and Carolee, were both in New England this week together, and they got to see each other. And when they heard that we needed a song that could show joy and playfulness, they sent us a video. It's almost like they said, "What brings you joy?" "Oh, we have that. We can give it to you." And what greater gift is there than that? That's pretty powerful. Just like you. You're pretty powerful, and you're very, very loved. And here's their song.
Carolyn floating down the Delaware, chewing on her underwear. Can't afford another pair. 10 days later, eaten by a polar bear. Nobody knows but me. Woo! There goes Carolee floating down the Delaware, chewing on her underwear. Can't afford another pair. 10 days later, eaten by a polar bear. Nobody knows but me. Oh, here goes Fancy chewing down, sailing down the underwear. Yeah, you don't have underwear. You don't have any underwear.
Okay, that brought me joy. That was fun. And here is the time that Katie said where we do share those joys and sorrows of our community. It is good to share, to support each other. So please feel free in the chat, write your name at the beginning, whatever your joy and sorrow might be. And if you want it not to be said out loud, please put the word private at the beginning. And as you do that, let me mention a few in our world. Because, oh, my beloveds, there is so much to hold in our hearts this week. There are so many reasons we need joy as a counterbalance in our lives. We hold all of those who were affected by Hurricane Ida in Louisiana and Mississippi, but also in New York and New Jersey and everywhere in between. Lives, homes, and livelihoods lost, and it will take months to recover. And we know that climate change will make these kinds of hurricanes more severe and more often. And our hearts are just broken on what the Texas legislature and the Supreme Court upheld this week. There were many issues, but the access to abortions was the one that really hurt my heart. I want to be very clear that we as Unitarian Universalists stand with anyone who has a uterus in their own agency to control their body. Legislatures who take away that right for that choice, while also vehemently objecting to somebody telling them that they have to wear a mask, is the ultimate in hypocrisy and misogyny. And finally, this Labor Day weekend, I want to share with you a message from the Arizona AFL-CIO that was sent to all Arizona Unitarian Universalist congregations, urging them to act on the action of immediate witness that was passed at our General Assembly this summer, supporting the right to organize. Right here in Arizona, that means supporting the Protect to Right to Organize Act, the PRO Act, which has passed in the US House and is now in the Senate. Please call Senators Kelly and Sinema to ask them to show their support, and the full letter is in the chat. Now, let us turn to the joys and sorrows of our community. Let me see, it looks like Barbara, yours got cut off. So if you want to re-enter that, that would be great. From Amy Miskell, a joy, we got a new to us electric lawnmower yesterday. See, that's the pumpkin latte that can make you happy. Debbie and Gabby say that they are fostering a very cute 3-month-old Schnauzer mixed puppy called Susie this weekend. And Debbie has a new job. That's tons of joy all around. And Victoria Meyer says that while getting my flu shot, there were others getting COVID vaccines so that they can be with grandkids, parents, whatever reason. This brought me joy. Jez says, I made a new Lego bot named Redox Navi. That's awesome. John Hone, oh John, I'm so glad to see you here today. John says, I had a heart attack last Friday, but I'm happy to say that I am home and doing very well. And John, you will know that you were mentioned in Joys and Sorrows last week. We were sending you thoughts and prayers. I'm so glad that you're doing well. Laurel says, please pray for my sister who had emergency surgery related to cancer a week ago yesterday and is still in the ICU. Sarah Montgomery says, I am so grateful to spend my first Labor Day as a member of a union, the United Campus Workers of Arizona. Brad C has a sorrow. Today is the 12th anniversary of the passing of my mother, Ann Collins, who lost her battle with cancer after beating it 3 times in 20 years. She was the matriarch of the family who helped create many lifelong memories. She is remembered with love and joy by family and friends alike. Holding you, Brad. Kathy Kopak says, joy to see Mary from DC. And you hope that you rubbed the nose of the hippo. I'm sure that that means something to DC folks. A sorrow from Nigel Perez says, I'm sad that Nigel is sad that his mom hurt her ankle while doing a front flip on the trampoline. I'm sorry about the hurt and impressed about the front flip. Sylvia Sharma shares a joy and sorrow both because her 69-year-old brother Jim will be legally cared for through conservatorship in process now and in another brain surgery procedure that will happen tomorrow. He has good support by family, siblings, and mom's inheritance. Love. And the bot was from Navi. So I did get those Redux Navi. I kind of maybe thought that was you, Navi. Barb and Dave said, I just had my 6th-month CAT scan. I have normal nodules, no more cancer. They will be doing a study called Pulmonary Nodule Program, and I will be part of that. What wonderful news to hear. And another joy, Nigel Perez is happy. He got an RC plane for his birthday. That's awesome. Bill and Joan have a joy. We took a drive up to Montezuma's Castle and Montezuma's Well and visited these ancient ruins with the sounds of birds and Beaver Creek. And Francis has a sorrow that is today would have been my mom's 80th birthday. She's been gone 5 years now. So many things to hold in our hearts, so many things that we are carrying, and all of those that are not expressed. So I want to invite you to a time of meditation and prayer. And what I want you to do, I want you to envision all of these joys and sorrows in our world, in our community, and not those that weren't spoken. I want you to picture them in a special place inside of your heart. Imagine them right there, put them right in there. Imagine them being held by you, by all of us. Now I want you to wrap them in love. Picture it. They're placed in your heart. They are wrapped however you wrap things in love. And now we're also going to wrap them in a little bit of joy. And to prove the line, this joy I have, the world didn't give it to me, I invite you to watch these two 10-month-old twins just laugh at each other. Just laugh. Please feel free to laugh along. For 90 seconds, I invite you to just enjoy their joy and send that love to each other and out into our world. May we invite such joy into our lives. Our next piece of music was recorded by our own UUCP Open Strings. In this case, 3 members and a good friend of our congregation. It's the movement entitled Rejoicing from Handel's Music for the Royal Fireworks. Enjoy.
Thinking about joy this week reminds me of an assignment I had in my theater class sophomore year of high school. We were learning to transform pieces of our own lives into works that could be performed on stage. At the beginning of that assignment, my teacher asked us to just write down a few small joys we had throughout our week and bring them back to class to share. Sophomore year was a particularly difficult time of my life for many reasons, but being asked to find little parts of my day that I found joy in really helped ease my mind, at least a little. It taught me that I didn't have to wait for something big and exciting to come along and make me happy. Just being conscious of the small things like a friend's laugh or a good meal made my turbulent circumstances seem a little better. When I started shifting my perspective towards focusing on the good in the ocean of bad, it honestly felt like there were fewer things for me to worry about. It is something I try to practice to this day, even on days when it feels like there's no way that anything good could happen. It can. You just have to remember to look for it. Now we get to share with you a new piece by the Vegetable Orchestra, which is based in Vienna. For 20 years, they've been making music with fresh vegetables from local markets. After each performance, the vegetables are made into a soup that is shared with the audience. This video is by the micro-documentary company Great Big Story.
Okay, wasn't that fun? Isn't that great? And then imagine that just getting turned into soup. You can say a lot about UUCP, but you can't say that we are not creative and don't have fun. I have a reading or an excerpt this morning entitled This Joy I Have. It's by Austin Channing Brown, who is a Black female New York Times bestselling author. It's from an anthology of writings from this great gem of a book called You Are Your Best Thing. It's an anthology of different writers by Brene Brown and Tarana Burke about shame, vulnerability, and the Black experience. In her essay, Channing Brown is talking about how she loves horror films. I have come to appreciate the momentary terror of a good scary movie. There's a comfort in the relative familiarity of their beginnings, a delightful group of family members or friends having the time of their lives. There's laughter and joking and hugging and tenderness and an excitement for life hanging in the air. And then there is a split second where the good time seems too good to be true. A certain grimness slices through the merriment. There is now only before and after. It's a pattern that works for us because we intuitively recognize the jolt of fear that this is all too good to last. Parents feel it when kids are too happy and relaxed and snuggling. Partners feel it when love swells and overwhelms. Students feel it when everything seems to be breaking their way. In the moments when we are filled with joy, we wonder if there is a haunting force out there that will soon steal our joy away. In her book, Daring Greatly, our friend Brene calls this phenomenon foreboding joy. She explains, we're afraid that the feeling of joy won't last, or that there won't be enough, or that the transition to disappointment or whatever is in store for us next will be too difficult. We've learned that giving in to joy is at best setting ourselves up for disappointment, and at worst, inviting disaster. And we struggle with the worthiness issue. Do we deserve joy given our inadequacies and imperfections? And so we find ourselves shrinking back from moments of joy. We recoil from the feeling and to the varying degrees from the people who bring us pleasure. We withhold excitement in exchange for the preparations of disappointment. We steel our hearts for tragedy rather than softening into the vulnerabilities that make joy make us feel. I am certainly guilty of this. Whenever I talk with my only living grandmother, I worry that my joy means that she will soon pass away. When my husband plans for me to have time to myself, I worry that he and my son will get into a car accident, all because I was excited to read a book without interruption. but I have found a far more despicable agent of foreboding joy in the form of racism. For Black people and other people of color, there is a level of apprehension that isn't wrought from an uneasy feeling of undeservedness, but from the knowledge that racism is the silent stalker, always willing to wring joy from our lives. This level of foreboding joy is not in our heads, it's in the evidence of our experience. Channing goes on to tell specific stories of Black people telling about their experiences about not wanting to go out for a walk since the death of Ahmaud Arbery, or going on an RV trip through sundown towns, or letting their kids play in the park. While she wants to tell them that everything will be fine, there is nothing to fear. You should delight in the joy. She acknowledges the following. She says, I couldn't. In good conscience, I could not declare with any certainty that racism wouldn't continue to act as the villain in any good slasher movie. It might not be outrun. What do you do when you are all too aware that Blackness makes you uniquely vulnerable in the world? Traditionally, the Black community has relied on a spirituality born of hardship and humanity to declare a phrase popularized by gospel music artist Shirley Caesar. This joy I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away. This is not to create a monolith of the Black community. I am in no way suggesting that all Black Americans have found refuge in the gospel of the Christian church. Instead, I mean only to point out a shared, rooted resilience and joy. Contained in this one sentence is a staunch declaration that if the world will take from me, it will do so only once, not twice. It cannot have both my tragedy and my joy. This posture is not giving in to foreboding joy. It does not suggest that since racism can steal from me, I will care about nothing and no one. Instead, it lives paradoxically at the intersection of joy and pain, realistically acknowledging that pain may come, but that pain cannot permanently drown out joy. After generations of horrific oppression, after a century of second-class citizenship, after a host of atrocities from colonization to genocide and all manner of horrors, we have learned that the only thing white supremacy would love more than taking our lives is for the lives that we have to be diminished, less than human, filled with despair containing only fear. But our community has learned that even the darkest depths of human evil cannot snuff out our experience of joy, of laughter, and of love, of good food and good conversation, of family legacy and hope for the future, of creative endeavor and the pursuit of justice. The joy of Blackness persists. This is the end of the reading.
It's great. Great reading. Whew. So we've often sung Lean on Me in our congregation, and I want to share another hit song by Bill Withers with you now, Lovely Day, which is very much about seeing beauty and joy when things are hard. And it is a love song, and like most love songs, you can sing it thinking of another person that makes you feel good, or the possibility of that. Or if you're feeling devotional, when the lyrics say, then I look at you, you can imagine that you to be the spirit of life, or God, or the world, you know, anything that can make the world all right with you. So, here we go. When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind, then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. forgot to warn you. This song has one of the longest notes that anyone holds. So you're welcome to hold that with me. Or you're welcome to sing the background, you know. Love the day, love the day, love the day, love the day, love the... Or you're welcome, you know, to come in on the long note and drop out and come back in, whatever you feel like. Alright, here's the second verse. When the day that lies ahead. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face. When someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Again. When the day that lies ahead, when the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face. When someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you and I know it's gonna be, big breath, a lovely day, a lovely day, a lovely day. Back to you, Christine.
Awesome. Benji, and your guitar playing, it's like turned up through this pandemic. Nice work. I have heard a lot of people say that they are exhausted. Exhausted from the ups and downs of the pandemic, from trying to manage it all, from the grind of daily life. It's not a like I've worked all day and I'm exhausted kind of feeling. It's a life exhaustion. We're exhausted from watching the news and seeing all the pain and the hardship going on. We're exhausted of worrying about our families, our community, our future. Are any of you exhausted? So what's the antidote for exhaustion? It seems like tired, it should be sleep. But I don't think that's it. I'm actually sleeping way more since the pandemic. I have a much shorter commute to my office down the hall. And really, how much TV can one person watch at night anyways? I'm actually getting plenty of sleep, but yet that doesn't cure my exhaustion. I think the antidote for exhaustion is joy. Joy that lifts our spirits and helps us to escape. That great belly laugh that shakes off all the fears, or that dancing to live music that relaxes you down to your core. That connection with another human being that makes you all warm inside. And I think it is that joy that we have missed in this pandemic more than anything. There's been more time for news and impending doom and less time for joy, which balances us out. So I'm here to echo Austin Channing Brown and to make the case for bringing more joy into our world. Because, oh, we have a lot of work to do. And we can't let all of the anger, injustice, and worry sweep us away so that we're too exhausted to do the work. The poet Toy Dericote says, joy is an act of resistance. It is, right? Joy is saying to the world, you cannot take away my spirit, my essence, my joy, who I am. You can make me motivated enough to work, but you will not take away who I am. The song says, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. We weren't given like this certain allotment of joy when we were born that we have to sparingly keep and dole out in little pieces. No, we were born with the ability to laugh and coo and smile. We weren't given permission to be joyful. We were born joyful. The world didn't give it to me, and by golly, the world cannot take it away from me. Now, you all may have heard that my mother died a few weeks ago, and that has brought a level of grief that honestly I didn't know was possible. For all of you who have lost a loved one, I have a whole new level of compassion and solidarity for the range of emotions that grief brings. But the Saturday after her memorial service, we also got to celebrate the engagement of our eldest son to his beloved. There was a party. It was outside and we did it as safely as we possibly could, but it was also with family that I haven't seen in 2 years. And there was live music, and there was dancing and laughing and smiling and so much joy. And I just looked around and it filled me to the brim. And oh, I will tell you, I did not take one single second for granted. I don't think anyone did. I soaked it all up like that Bounty paper towel commercial showing that they are the better picker-upper. It was like, I just kept looking around and seeing people smiling and laughing, and I drank it in. So my challenge is, how do I find that joy without the party and the family and all the gathering? After all, it is still not something that many of us are doing abundantly right now. How do I make sure that I create opportunities to invite joy to recharge me? How do I prioritize letting go of my worry and making sure that nothing and no one takes that joy away from me? Joy can come from gratitude, from taking a moment to recognize all of the abundance and goodness that is around me. It can come from stopping by and smelling some of the beautiful flowers that are blooming around the desert because of the monsoons this summer. Of being grateful for my little space of back patio and the unique cloud formations that I see in the sky. Of the people in my life, both digitally and in person. And of the abundance of goodness that I see from this community. Joy is very deeply related to faith and hope, in seeing the hope and commitment of our children, in imagining the possibilities of a different world and working towards them, focusing on that vision rather than all the obstacles. And joy comes from the satisfaction of serving others. If you want to feel good, do a kind gesture. Write a note. Drop off a loaf of banana bread. Pumpkin bread, maybe even. Do a kind gesture. Bring in someone's garbage can. Pay for the next person's pumpkin spice latte in the drive-thru. Do something that will delight you because it will delight them. It gives a level of satisfaction that can bring a deep level of joy that can last your whole day long. And don't be afraid to be creative. Getting a new haircut, that deserves a celebration. Is it your 47th and 5/12th birthday? Great, have a cupcake. Mark the different transitions in your life and toast moments of happiness you notice as you go through your day. Dance, skip, even if it is just in your head. And you can find a moment in your next meeting or conversation to find something to laugh about. Take a moment with a loved one on the phone, Zoom, or in person to just let go and tell a good story, or recount a memory, or share a funny thing that happened in your day. Revel in the goofiness of your pets. Watch more funny videos. Goats in pajamas are one of my favorites. I urge us all to make it a priority because the work is hard. We need to be ready. If you need more sleep, I hope you get it, but maybe the antidote you're looking for is joy. Austin Channing Brown again. We decide not only that we will practice gratitude for the ways we are experiencing joy, but that we will do it with every bone in our body. We will love hard, we will dance with abandon, we will laugh loudly and often. We will declare our right to be in that store or that school or that neighborhood or that job. We will give our bodies the respect they so richly deserve for carrying us this far. I will love harder and in this, I will become softer. I will become vulnerable, open to being hurt because I trust my joy cannot be taken away. This joy I have, nope, the world didn't give it to me. It didn't. I have it all right here inside of me. And this joy that I have, I will not let the world take it away from me. I will hold on to it so I have the energy to do the work of justice, do the acts of love and kindness, and have the capacity to be fully human in this amazing world we live in. I hope you will too. So might it be for all of us.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this strength that I have, this strength that I have, this strength that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this love that I have. This love that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this love that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Singing, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this pride that I have, this pride that I have, this pride that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have, I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this pride that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this peace that I have, oh, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give me my peace that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. Won't you sing about peace? This peace that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this joy that I have, this joy that I have, this joy that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
Resistance Revival Chorus believes in the words written by the poet Toy Darracott when she wrote, "Joy is an act of resistance." We believe in the words of Mr. Harry Belafonte, who said, "When the movement is strong, the music is strong." We sing to revive the hearts of those who fight for social justice, and we sing together for freedom.
What a great song. Before closing words, we want to invite you to coffee hour after the service. Remember, we're going to have a tour of our brand new website. The link is in the chat and will be on the final slide. Visitors, we hope you will join us. We'll also have breakout rooms where we'd love to meet you. And a reminder that next Saturday, let's have some joy, safely distanced, in person, collecting our water for water communion, signing petitions, signing banners, doing all kinds of great stuff next Saturday from 9 to 11. And a reminder to please check on each other. Now, let there be joy in our hearts. May our joy sustain us through the hard times, and may that joy be seen as a beacon of love to all who know us. And may it be seen as a statement of resistance that struggles, politics, acrimony, disease, or conflict, that none of those can take away who we are at our core. May our joy be a hallmark of our love in the world. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe. Go in peace, go in love, go in joy.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Yeah. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Yeah. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. Yeah. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along